Ever get that sick, twisting feeling deep in your gut, like a chapter's closing right before your eyes, even when your heart refuses to let go? Like watching the last embers in a bonfire you built from your blood and sweat, knowing the flames won't roar back, but still craving just one more spark. Detroit Lions fans, pack that pain tight because today, the news hit like a freight train smashing through the cold silence. Damokong Su, the fiercest, most ferocious beast ever to storm the trenches in Honolulu blue, has officially hung up the cleats. Now, before we all let out the roar that's been stuck in our throats since 2014, I want you to blow up the comments if you've held on to the wildest hope that Seed could somehow, against all odds, pull off the impossible comeback. To Detroit, light up this moment with that signature Lions grit, the kind that says never count us out, even when the odds are stacked sky high. Because behind the scenes, whispers have been swirling, faint and fragile, like smoke curling from a dying fire. Insiders saying, could Sa return? Could the king of the defensive line come back one last time and change everything? Maybe Detroit's yearning to rekindle something raw and unstoppable in the trenches. But let's peel back this painful truth. Ndamukong Suh isn't just taking a break. No, this is final. The man who once bulldozed through offensive lines, shifting the very soul of Detroit's defense with every bone-crushing tackle, has stepped away for good. He posted it himself, raw, honest, and unflinching. I left it all on the field, and now I'm stepping away with peace and gratitude. No rewind, no do-overs. The signature second overall pick of 2010's draft. The rookie who roared into the league with 10 sacks and first-team All-Pro glory. The four-time Pro Bowler who redefined what it meant to dominate from the middle is done. And sure, he spent time chasing glory and a championship elsewhere, donning different colors and finally hoisting the Lombardi with Tampa Bay. But to Detroit, Suh was more than just a player. He was a symbol. A franchise's muscle and hope, bundled up in 300 pounds of sheer relentless force. Remember the defensive line shaking the Lions' den. Remember the glory moments sandwiched between seasons that left us yearning for more. That was Suh's gift. He didn't just play football. He bled Detroit's fight. Yet, as the city remembers every heartbreak since the brutal '91 Super Bowl drought, as it learns to rebuild beyond the shadow of the Caldwell years that dragged out our patience like a slow death, Suh's retirement whispers a somber truth. Sometimes even Detroit's fiercest warriors have to step back. And here's the kicker. This isn't just about a guy walking away from football. It's about a city wrestling with its own stubbornness, its fight and vulnerability. What if losing Suh means the Lions have to dig even deeper to find new warriors to rise in a defense that's been waiting for a monster like him? What if this forces Dan Campbell and a new guard into making choices no one saw coming trades? Rookies, gambles that could either inspire a renaissance or unravel the fragile hope we cling to. What if Suh's absence is the fuel that ignites a ferocious new era? Or what if it's the heartbreaking signal that the golden age of defense we dreamed of has slipped away? Detroit knows how to stare down the abyss and find the fire to rise. But what if this time the fire is dimmer as we begin the next chapter without our lion heart? And as the sun sets on this era and the city swallows the bitter pill of farewell, one thing's clear: Suh is not coming back. No return, no encore. He's a legend who gave us everything, who, on the one-year anniversary of his father's passing, chose to finally embrace peace and close this wild, brutal chapter of his life. So where does that leave us? With hearts pounding and eyes wide, open, waiting, wondering, who will rise now? Who will take the mantle of Detroit's defensive line and carry it through the storm? Because if this domino falls, believe me, the tremors won't stop with Sabulsi. Detroit's football soul is restless, rumbling beneath the surface, and the fuses are lit. The Lions aren't just clawing back. They're coming for blood, and soon enough, the earthquake hits. And when it does, you won't believe who's next. Snap the chains, Detroit. Destiny doesn't wait for the timid. Because right now, In this very moment, our living legend, our heartbeat on the field, has stepped away, no fanfare, no last dance, just cold, raw truth. And Damu Kongsu's gone. And hear me loud and clear, this is just about a player hanging up his cleats. It's the end of an era carved from sweat, blood, and unyielding ferocity. A chapter that shook the NFL's foundations every time he stormed into the trenches, with that thunderous roar that made opponents tremble and fans roar in defiance. We've seen the flashback sob-obliterating linemen, sprinting past blockers like a freight train fueled by pure, unfiltered rage. Remember that 2011 season? When he wrecked Tom Brady's game plan with relentless fury, forcing the Patriots to rethink what they thought they knew about Detroit's defense. Or that playoff game against Dallas in 2014, when he flipped the entire gridiron with a sack that looked like a car crash in slow motion, an unhinged display of dominance that etched itself into our memories forever. That man was a force of nature, a one-man wrecking crew built on pure rage, discipline, and an unbreakable desire to lift Detroit out of the shadows of mediocrity. We were desperate for a symbol, and Sal, with his stony stare and thunderous hits, became that symbol. Yet, beneath all the chaos, amid the locker room fires and the unspoken tension that fueled us through battles, there was something more, a hunger that transcended stats, a hunger to bring a Lombardi to a city starved for glory, to silence the endless doubters, to make everything worth the scars etched on his soul. And he did. How many times did we imagine that final glorious push? How many seasons did we cling to whispers that Sal's relentless intensity would somehow carry this franchise over the brink? We've seen near misses frustrating, heartbreaking near misses like the 0-16 season, a dark cloud that still lingers. Over Ford Field, a reminder of what despair feels like when hope seems just beyond reach. We recall Jim Caldwell's firing, a wound fresh in our collective memory, a symbol of the turbulent road we traveled. And now, after Calvin Johnson's sudden retirement, after Sanders' quiet exit, after countless seasons of struggle and fleeting moments of brilliance, we thought maybe, just maybe, Detroit had seen the worst. But the ghost of Southern man who embodied Detroit's fight, who bled Honolulu blue and silver, remained an unbreakable symbol of what we're capable of. And yet, here we are, staring into the abyss, knowing that the defense will never quite be the same without him. This isn't just about one player walking away. It's about the seismic shift in our DNA, the crack in the foundation that no amount of draft picks or coaching miracles can fully mend. Behind the scenes, whispers of locker room tension persist, a team that's been trying to rebuild trust, to find that spark of intensity that once turned the Lions into a legitimate threat. Rivalries have sharpened Green Bay, Chicago, Minnesota each. Game now laced with fear and curiosity. Are they realizing, like we are, that without some, Detroit's rush of fury might be just a whisper in the wind? The NFC North is watching us, whispering behind clenched teeth. Are the Lions finally vulnerable? Or is this the moment when Detroit's true warriors, the ones they've been grooming in the shadows, step into the light? Imagine the front office, deciphering tape, strategizing, desperate to find a replacement for that beast a player with Sal's fire, or maybe a new scheme that can compensate for his absence. But deep down, we know it's not just about filling a gap. It's about reclaiming a spirit that hurled us through doubt, through heartbreak, through doubts about Caldwell, about Stafford, about everything we deem core to Detroit's future. This is about the ghosts that still haunt Ford Field, the echoes of close calls, of mistakes made in the heat of battle, of the fear that maybe the city's destiny is forever chained to heartbreak. And yet, amid all this chaos, this maelstrom of nostalgia, pain, and anticipation, we sense it. The rumbling beneath the surface, the tremors heralding a new storm. The talk of trades, of rookies ready to be unleashed, of coaches tinkering with strategies that seem almost haphazard, yet desperate for brilliance. Could this be the dawn of something greater? Or are we staring down the barrel of chaos, Knowing that the loss of Saci isn't just a blow to Detroit's defense, it's a blow to our collective hope. The game is changing, and we can feel it whether it's a spark from a rookie linebacker, a signing that makes us think of Velocity, or an unforeseen turn that shifts everything. And as the sun sets on this chapter, as the shadows lengthen over Ford Field, one question still lingers: who will be the next lion to roar, to shake the NFL to its core, to carry the torch of Detroit's relentless fight? Because if this domino falls, if Saw's chapter truly ends, the tremors will ripple through the league, and Detroit's destiny will be rewritten. And in that silence, as the city braces for what's coming, we can't help but wonder, are we ready to face the storm that's waiting just beyond the horizon? Or is this the calm before the inevitable chaos erupts? And who will answer the call in that moment of reckoning?